Greetings everyone. Greetings, I hope you're doing well. In today's video we're going to be doing a tutorial for an addendum for the usually residential for sale contract or as is contract, and this addendum is the seller financing addendum. This particular addendum can usually add a clause into the subject contract for seller financing, and today we'll be discussing about this addendum, how to fill it out, and how I advise on additional professionals you should seek the counsel in addition to filling out this addendum to incorporate it into your contract. So before we begin, as always, our company is Nizz Realty Inc. We're licensed in the state of Florida, hopefully future states as well in the future. We're a 100% commission real estate brokerage. We pay all of our agents 100% of their real estate commission. For more information, feel free to visit the description below this video, take a look there, or visit our website. But for now, let's get straight into the video because that's probably why you're here. If you want to learn more about our company and our brokerage and you're licensed in the state of Florida, feel free to contact us for a free confidential consultation or read the description below. For now, let's talk about this addendum and start filling it out. So it's only 2 pages. As you can see here, it's not too long, but there's a few things that I definitely recommend you understand and advise your clients when filling out this particular addendum if your clients are seeking to do seller financing. Personally, if I'm working with buyers, and this is just my professional personal opinion, I don't like to do seller financing or really try to, advise clients to go that direction, but seller financing is a thing. It does exist. It does get incorporated into contracts, and it can be useful depending on what the clients are looking to do, whether you're working with a seller or a buyer. So it does exist, and it can be used into contracts, and it can be useful. So let's talk about filling it out. The first thing is up here is you just fill out the seller, buyer, and property descriptions. Let's just put a placeholder there. For right now, you just put the name of the seller, then you put the name of the buyer, and then you can put the property address. Let's just leave it like that. Of course, you have the initials up here that you do to fill it out. So the first thing I'm going to mention before we start filling out the second page of this particular addendum is, as it says here, warning. Prior to entering into the financing contemplated below, seller and buyer are advised to seek the advice of legal counsel to determine if this financing complies with the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act and other relevant federal and state requirements. So you could have this drafted and put into the contract, but as it says here, you're really going to want to advise your clients to go speak to an attorney or some type of professional that deals with this type of financing. Most of the time, an attorney is what I usually recommend, but definitely speak to an additional professional that specializes in this type of thing to make sure everything is in compliance with federal and state requirements and the law, because you just want to make sure if this is being done, that it's being done correctly and there's nothing being violated concerning the laws or any of these protected acts and so forth. So this is one of the main reasons why I typically don't like to do seller financing, but it can be done, it does exist, and it can be useful depending on the situation. It's usually a very unique situation and rare situations where this is done. But it can be done, it does happen, it does exist, but in the beginning, definitely our professional and personal advice is to follow what it says here in this particular addendum. Seek the advice of speaking to legal counsel. You definitely probably want to get an attorney involved and have them look over things and so forth. So advise your clients to do that and hire the services of an attorney. So you could read through the rest of these summaries here pretty much and go through it. You're going to be going through one or the other, so go through there. The second part here is what you can fill out, which is basically the seller financing, and we'll go through this pretty quickly. But the seller agrees to hold a note secured by, you select a first or a second purchase money mortgage executed by the buyer, and the principal amount of, so you would click the first or second purchase money mortgage. If you don't know what that is, I recommend once again speaking to having legal counsel or having a lender involved as well. That's usually what I'd recommend if you're doing seller financing, is you get an attorney involved, and you get a financing specialist involved, and then you could discuss whether it's going to be a first or a second purchase money mortgage, as you see here. So you'll consult the professionals and fill out one or the other here. The next part here is you're going to fill out the price, usually of the property, of what the seller financing is going to be. So let's say it's going to be $500,000 just for a placeholder. You put $500,000, and then interest per, you put the interest percentage amount here. Remember, you can't just put any amount there. Usually, once again, it's a little outside of my scope of practice, but you need to, once again, speak to an attorney and a financing professional to see what's the maximum amount of interest you could put there. For now, let's just put something like 1% just to keep it simple as a placeholder, but definitely consult an attorney and a financing professional to figure out which the amounts you could put there and what are the rules regarding that in your state. So the next part here is you'll fill out the fully amortized for a term of, it could be 30 years. You put the year amount here, whatever that may be. The next, you're going to pick one of these boxes here. You could pick next the box B, an interest-only mortgage loan that complies with the requirements of Dodd-Frank set forth above for a term of maybe 60 months, or as you see here in the blank. But you put that amount as you change that amount as what you're looking to do. But these are all the different types of financing. The balloon mortgage, I really don't ever see that anymore. And I haven't seen that in a long time, a balloon mortgage. Same thing with an ARM mortgage, adjustable rate mortgage, also for short, ARM, ARM. You'd fill out one of these, whatever you're looking to do. In most situations where I've seen this addendum be drafted, it's usually A or B. I don't really ever see C or D. I haven't seen that in a long time, but if you do fill out D, you can read through the paragraphs here about the percentage points, and how long and so forth, how it changes. But I've rarely seen the balloon mortgage or the ARM part C or D. Usually it's A or B, most of the time A. So you fill it out there. You can leave that blank for the 30, or I always like to put a number in just to not leave it blank. It's up to you. That's more of a personal preference, but that's usually how it's filled out from here. And then down here, the last part is the principal plus interest shall be payable in the event of an adjustable rate mortgage loan initially in equal. Check 1. So this is something you'd fill out, whether it's going to be monthly, quarterly, annually. I believe this paragraph is pertaining to the ARM mortgage paragraph. But that's pretty much all that you would fill out with this. The rest of it you could read through the addendum. There's nothing really to fill out as far as drafting it. But for the most part, there's not really much to fill out here. Really, it's just an addendum to incorporate into the contract. The main thing, if there's something important that I want you to take from this video, is that when you're doing seller financing, it's highly recommended and probably necessary that you seek the advice of legal counsel, get an attorney and a financing specialist involved. Maybe you don't need to get some type of financing specialist or professional involved, but you should definitely get an attorney who specializes in these type of things, that has an extensive knowledge as far as financing and seller financing. So definitely I'd recommend you do that. Drafting this is fairly simple, but for the most part it's just something to incorporate into the contract. But you definitely want to advise your clients to speak to an attorney if you're going this route. In my professional and personal opinion, I don't recommend doing it any other way. If you're going to go the route of doing seller financing, whether you're representing the seller or you're representing the buyer, it's definitely highly advised that you have some type of attorney involved when doing this to make sure that things are done correctly and state and federal laws and requirements aren't being violated, either are the other protection acts or consumer protection acts that are stated in this particular addendum and that are pretty much incorporate into state and federal law. So, this is pretty simple, 2 pages, but once again, speak to an attorney, financial specialist. Hopefully this video helped. See you in the next one.